All right, so we're now in 2023, 2 years out from this 2021 new SoundCloud underground era, and I just want to say thank God that shit is over, bruh. I did not like that era, and I thought it was pretty apparent. Like, I didn't really talk about it all too much, although sometimes, you know, as a content creator, you're kind of forced to speak on things that are popular because it was blowing up on TikTok and whatnot. But I am just so glad it's over. I don't think it was very good for music as a whole because of a few different reasons. But as you can already see, some of these artists, I'm not going to mention names because you know how that goes. I say something, people are going to start getting mad and it's going to affect the bottom line. So, you know, we're going to chill here. But I think you all know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, so I think the main reason, it wasn't even the artists themselves necessarily that I didn't like, because they had some songs that I could vibe to, you know, but I hated the comparisons to the new 2016 SoundCloud era 2.0. Like, it was nowhere close to that whatsoever, bro. None of these artists are touching even Uzi, Cardi, X, Juice WRLD, name any rapper, 21 Savage, Lil Yachty. Are any of these rappers really hitting the same numbers? Maybe there's like Sofago and Yeet who are doing well, but still nowhere close to like Hot 100 Billboard hits. So it's very similar to all these, again, Lil Sky's fan pages in my comments, dick riding a specific artist that may have already fallen off. It almost makes me hate that artist even more when I don't have any necessarily preconceived negative connotations towards that artist. But when you start making such strong statements, it makes me give some pushback. So nothing really needs to be said about that. We can already tell just by the numbers and the influence that none of these kids, and yes, I say kids, are anywhere close to where the 2016 era is, because a lot of those artists are still popping to this day. And we already saw in like 1 to 2 years, the new 2016 XXL freshman 2.0 is already over. They're all washed, or at least a lot of them. I'm not going to speak on every single artist because some of them are still doing pretty well, but you get the point. And I also want to emphasize the fact that I said kids, because that's all I really heard from this new era of music. It was just kids rapping about their little high school relationships or trials and tribulations of drug use when they popped like too many Advil and they had a tummy ache. Mommy had to give them some Tums and milk at night. I just wasn't having any of that. Y'all call me a grown man? Yes, I'm a grown man. And I can tell you right now that a lot of that music just fizzled out because it can't really relate to an older audience. And it doesn't necessarily have to go to like lyrical, spiritual, miracle, empirical fan bases of 45 years and older plus, but most ages can still get down to Future and Drake because the words they speak can actually relate to all ages. You just don't have much to talk about when you are a child. I'm sorry. And I get it. It was probably fun. These kids were blowing up on TikTok, rapping on cool beats, they were getting clout. However, nothing more than the original SoundCloud era because none of the music was all too unique. In fact, most of them hopped on very similar beats. We all know the Rage era, in which everybody was rapping on just one slightly different variation of the same Cymex loop kid or whatever, until the point where I was literally listening to this music while digging my own grave. And while this specific song that I'm gonna mention isn't necessarily a Rage beat, it definitely epitomizes this whole era. I call it the anti-social genre of music, by which we all know this song because pretty much every single underground rapper hop on the remix or their own version of it. I really do not care. But other than all of the clouded names hopping on it, I really just did not understand how so many people actually liked this song, because it was kind of just jumbling up a bunch of words into a cipher. It was kind of just like a clout grab, and this isn't any diss at Tana at all because he created the song originally. Honestly, kudos to him for starting that wave, but it almost seemed like these kids had just never heard that great of music. These so-called new gens, they didn't experience like the Uzi, Yachty, Cardi, X era because they were still watching Mickey Mouse on their little iPads at the time. And so they just wanted to feel like they were a part of this new generation that was gonna be as big as the previous. And that's all I really think it was. Almost like a nostalgia factor, in which whoever missed out on this first 2016 era, which really revolutionized music because of all of the new artists coming up on SoundCloud without much assistance from the label, just making music that was deemed as mumble rap. And so of course all the old heads were hating on it, but it was such good music and these artists had such cult-like followings that there's nothing that can really replicate it. Again, especially when you're at like 16 years old. Are you really telling me a 21-year-old who's in college is gonna go see a 16-year-old rapper jumping up and down at the front gate of the crowd, pissing their third pair of Calvin Klein boxer briefs, rapping every single word from a middle school rapper who's allegedly fucking more bitches than you? No. And also I want to mention this whole underground stigma that all these rappers had when they were clearly boosted by a label. We all know this. As soon as a song pops off on TikTok with like, say 10,000 likes or something, labels swoop in with the bag like a crackhead who hears somebody opening up a Snickers bar. And so with that being said, when you have all this money and resources and playlisting and SoundCloud reposts at your disposal with the label, you're not really underground anymore necessarily. Maybe in the fan base size, but there's nothing organic about it. This whole underground term has been slaughtered to oblivion. And I understand that I speak about it a lot and I have in the past. However, there really isn't that much underground action going on without a label just because they move so quickly. I mean, that is their entire business and job to find new songs and artists to make money off of. But as we've already mentioned multiple times in this video, is that these artists aren't really lasting because that little funnel of money and resources has slowed up a bit. And what exactly is happening? They're not getting posted on all these pages. They're not getting all the playlisting and SoundCloud reposts, and their careers are dying, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing because I think it's good for personal growth to be doing it on your own, especially while they're maturing as young adults. Let's say they experience a little glimpse of the famous celebrity life, getting a little bit of money, so now they have something to work towards on their own while they figure out how to get another spike in clout. But with so many people running to TikTok to market their songs and paying TikTokers to dance to their songs, I think that that whole marketing scheme is so saturated that it's hard to blow up that way, at least for now. And so now I think it's great that we can actually get down to the real music on SoundCloud, where the underground artists, yes, they might have a little bit of label assistance, but they're just dropping for free on these platforms, seeing which songs stick, and then those actually high quality songs blow up. There's no gimmick behind it. There are no TikToks. I understand that we're kind of in a dead period right now between different waves of underground artists, but that happens with everything. I mean, we're in a recession right now. The stock market isn't doing too great. The housing market, we'll see. So as much as people shit on underground music, I do think there are some new artists that are killing it very slowly, building an organic fan base the actual right way, where it's not propped up by fake numbers or money. And if the little TikTok kids and Discord mods ain't messing with it, I frankly do not care, because ultimately I think that's what ruins music in the first place. It's more of like a product market fit that we discuss all the time, and that the artists are only really capitalizing on certain sounds that some fans want. And so if we get all these chronically online TikTok fans out of here, then finally music will go back to a good place and we can actually get another 2016 repeat 3.0. But that's a whole nother conversation, because you've already seen all the headlines with rap music is dying, because in 2023 we have like record lows of #1 albums from artists. But I really just think that there are not that many artists, rap artists that is, releasing good music, because everyone already got their money from their labels, the advances, and then they got out, which ultimately is the music industry in summary. Because nowadays with the internet moving so fast, you really can't even guarantee a career for more than 2 to 3 years, such as the rappers we already discussed. So why not get your money invested into some more let's say low risk investments? Buy your mom a house, get some stocks, and then you're basically good for life if you got, say, $1 million from the label in the first place. But with all that being said, I swear to God, I'm not just a hater of these newer artists, because I do love seeing kids win. But please, for the love of God, can we actually drop some good music and that blow up, not just riding off some little TikTok trends? Otherwise we might be in an even worse state of music, considering to keep it all fresh you need newer artists to be carrying the game. But y'all, let me know in the comments what you thought about this latest SoundCloud era. Did you actually like it, or do you agree with me that it was trash and that is why they've died out so fast? Of course, make sure to like, subscribe to the Bob Gang if you with it. It's been your boy Bobbalam signing off. Peace out, Cloud people. Nothing.